Hi, thank you for being here with me today. My name is Anna, and today's class is going to be focused on building stability. So stability essentially is the ability to restrict movement. What does that mean? So here's an example for you. If I am standing here and someone comes up and pushes me, if I don't have stability, I'm probably going to fall right over. Versus if I have stability and someone comes up and shoves me, I'm going to be able to hold on to my position. Or maybe I get a little bit off balance, but I'm able to return to it quickly. So today we're going to look at this by kind of doing some funky movements in our limbs to challenge our proximal stability or our core stability and being able to hold on to our position. And I am including the shoulders and the hip joints in kind of the core stability when we reference the core. So if you like to practice with props, by all means go ahead and grab them, but you won't necessarily need them for today. So let's go ahead and start off on our backs. We're going to set up for a bridge pose. So feet are firmly planted on the floor. Start to scoop the tailbone down, zip the pubic bone up, and squeeze your glutes there. So pushing into the feet, driving the glutes up to lift your hips. So not changing that position of the pelvis. Tailbone stays lengthened, front ribs are kind of knitting together here in the front. And then let's take your arms, reach them straight up toward the ceiling. Palms flip up, fingers turn back. And grab the left fingers with the right hand for a little wrist stretch. And if you want to here, you can start to pulse in the glutes, just up and down a little bit, but driving that movement from the glutes on the back of the hips. And then switching hands, left hand pulls the right fingers back. Just starting to make your breath a little bit deeper, breathing in and out through your nose. And now let's let the arms come down. Hold your hips in this low bridge. And just take a moment to bring your hands onto either side of your pelvis here and kind of hug inward, zipping up in the pubic bone. And then you can take one hand in front, kind of lower belly, one hand on the back to your sacrum, and kind of sandwich your two hands together here. So you feel kind of this compactness happening in the pelvis. Now we're going to try to hold on to this so we're not kind of letting the pelvis bop all around. And we're just going to start to march the feet. So push into the left foot, squeeze that left glute, lift the right knee up, set it down. Push into the right foot, squeeze the right glute, lift the left knee up. So keep going with that. And if this feels like too much right off the bat, you can do the same thing, but just lift alternating heels instead of lifting the whole leg up. But wherever you are, notice that you're trying to maintain that position in the pelvis as we start to move in the legs. Let's do a couple more here. And if this feels super wobbly, super wiggly at first, totally fine. Right, we are challenging our body and our brain in ways that you probably aren't used to. Right, so give yourself some grace here. And let's come back to just a regular bridge. And nice and slow, we're going to start to roll the spine down one vertebra at a time. Awesome. So let's bring your hands behind your head. We're going to go right into some ab work. Elbows hug in, take an inhale breath. Exhale, lift up off the shoulder blades. Now look down at your belly. Pubic bone, zip it up toward your face. Side ribs on both sides come together to kind of like button up in the middle. Inhale, lower back down. Exhale, lift up. Look down, zip up the front, buckle up the sides, and then reach the right leg straight out without changing anything in your belly. Right foot comes back down. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift up. Keeping the chin down, lean the head back into the hands a little bit. So we know we're prioritizing the abs. Zip up, buckle in, left leg reaches. Good. Noticing there we're not changing anything else. Left foot comes down. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches. Now you can hold it here or try to take it out to the right just a little bit, right? So we are challenging our ability to hold in our center. Come back through center, right foot comes down, inhale to lower. Holy moly. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches. Maybe you take that left leg out just a little bit, but really hold those side ribs in. Come back through center, set the foot down, inhale to lower. Let's do that again. Exhale, lift. Right leg reaches. Can take it out to the right a little bit. Zip up in the belly more. Hold those side ribs in more. You got this. Come back through center. Foot comes down, inhale to lower. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches. Take it out to the left just a little bit. Hold the side ribs in even more. Zip up that pubic bone even more. Come back through center. Foot comes down, inhale to lower. We're going to add on one more piece here. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches, and then turn just about an inch to the right. Nice. Take your left arm, reach it outside that leg, and then reach that arm a little bit more. Come back through center, foot comes down, inhale to lower. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches, turn about an inch to the left, right arm reaches, and then reach from the arm a little bit more, and then make your abs work harder. So pull those side ribs in even more. Hold that strength. Hand behind the head. Inhale to lower. Last one. Exhale, lift up. Right leg reaches. Turn an inch to the right. Left arm reaches outside the leg. And then if you want to, you can take that right leg out to the right a little bit. Ooh, can hardly talk. Back through center, hand behind the head. Inhale to lower. Last time. Exhale, lift up. Left leg reaches. Turn an inch to the left. Right arm reaches outside the leg. And then if you want to, take that left leg out a little bit to the left, but hold the stability in the center. Back through center. Foot comes down and release. Okay. So if you want to take a little windshield wiper of the legs side to side there a bit. Whew. I was planning this class last night and I was like, oh, this will be cool, these will be fun. But this is the first time I'm actually doing that whole series of abs. All right, so let's come around into a quadruped. So tabletop position on your hands and knees. I always like to use a little blanket for my knee, so you are always welcome to follow along there. All right, so in your quadruped, Shoulders are right on top of your wrists and hips are right on top of your knees. Just making sure that your knees or your hands are not too far forward or back. So you want to get hands right under the shoulders and the knees right under the hips. Better to be maybe too close than too far. Now, with your hands, you have these straight, strong arms here, but think about screwing your hands into the floor as if you were going to kind of like roll them out and kind of like screw them in. And notice that that movement is really coming from the shoulders, not just coming from the elbow, right? Kind of turning the hands out or from the wrist, but think about the shoulders almost wrapping back a little bit there. And that should feel a little bit more stable, like if someone were to come and kind of like push into you, right, that you could really hold strong there. So, zipping up in the pubic bone here, kind of hugging those shoulder blades down. And then we're going to take the right leg and reach it straight back. So even here, zipping up in that pubic bone, squeezing that right glute. We're not jutting the chin forward. Right knee comes back down. Left leg reaches back. Squeeze that left glute. Hold the ribs in. Bring that left knee back down. Right leg reaches back. Maybe this time you hover the right leg. Good. Holding that pelvis neutral. Pull that pubic bone up in front. And bring that knee down. Left leg reaches back. Maybe you hover the leg. Nice. Notice that tendency to maybe want to arch in the back. Hold the ribs in. Left leg comes back down. This time, right leg will reach back. Maybe the left arm reaches forward. Maybe you take the right leg out to the right a little bit and the left arm out to the left, right? Hold those side ribs together. Zip up in the pubic bone. Amazing. Hand and knee come back down. Left leg reaches. Hover it. Maybe the right arm reaches forward. And then maybe the left leg out to the left a little bit, maybe the right arm out to the right. That doesn't need to be a big movement at all, right? But challenge your ability to hold the position in the center. And then we'll bring the hand and the knee back down. And if you'd like to, you can take a little child's pose there, sitting the hips back. Couple breaths. Nice, and then we'll come back into our tabletop, spreading the fingers nice and wide, and even here, get that feeling of kind of screwing the hands into the floor, but feeling the work in the shoulder. So it's as if the shoulder kind of rolls back a bit and packs into the socket. Keep that feeling as you tuck the toes, pike the hips up, downward facing dog. If you'd like to take a moment here, bend the knees, pedal out the feet. Wherever you are, straight, strong arms lifting underneath the forearm, lifting the armpits up so that we are not collapsing into those shoulders. All right, let's walk the left foot in a little bit. Take the right leg up just to about hip height and bend the knee. So from here, starting to circle in the hip. The knee is just reflecting what the hip is doing. Moving from the top of the thigh, switching directions. Holding the ribs in, holding those arms up. Set the right foot down. Left leg reaches up, just hip height. Bend the knee. From the top of the thigh, start to circle the hip. Switch directions. Nice. And then we'll step that left foot down and start to walk your hands and your feet forward. You can always have your hands on blocks for that one. we'll meet at the top of the mat in like a little squat here. So I'm actually going to grab my blocks for this one. But let's take the hip creases, move them straight back, keep your spine nice and long, and then rise to stand just like that. Awesome. All right, so from the top of your mat here, let's bring the arms forward and up, inhale. As you exhale, we'll hinge and fold at the hips, ribs stay in, hips move back, plant the hands. Step the right foot back, lower the knee, come onto the top of the foot, and you can bring your torso upright. So we've got this right hip over the knee, squeeze that right glute, and lift up in the pubic bone as the tailbone kind of lengthens down. And then let's just start to roll in your shoulders. And so noticing here the movement in the shoulder blades on your back. Right, really working to help you initiate this movement so we're not just kind of rolling right here in the front. And then bring your hands down to the floor. Bring the knees under your hips so you're in this quadruped again. Dial or screw the hands into the floor. Feel the shoulders hug in and drag down. And then step the right foot back and the left foot back so you're in plank. Nice. So squeeze your glutes there. Zip up in the pubic bone here. Hold the ribs in. Lift that up, downward facing dog. You can always have your hands on blocks for your down dogs. Right leg reaches up. Push into the hands. Step that right foot forward. Lower the left knee, come onto the top of the foot. Bring yourself up. Left hip is over the knee. Squeeze that left glute and start to roll in your shoulders again. You can even just allow a little bit of movement in the rib cage. Right, so all of that is happening on top of the structure of that strong, stable pelvis. Bring your hands down to blocks or to the floor. Step your left foot up next to the right. Flex at the hips, spine stays nice and long. Back of the neck is lengthened. Rise up to stand. Inhale, arms lift forward and up. Exhale as you hinge and fold. Hands come down. Step the left foot back. Lower the left knee, but not the toes. And bring your arms scooch away from the window here. Bring your arms into a goalpost. So we've still got that left hip over the knee, that left glute is squeezing. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, add a slight turn to the right. Inhale back through center. Exhale, slight turn to the right. So notice it as you do this back to center. Keep going there on your own. We are moving in the ribs, but the pelvis does not move hardly at all, if any. Right, so we're holding that stability here as we move on top of it. Bring your hands down to the floor. Slide the right knee back underneath you for a quadruped. Screw the hands into the floor. Shoulders hug down. Ribs hold in. Pubic bone lifts. Step your feet back. Holding that plank there. Notice that you're not jutting your chin. Draw it down, lengthen the back of the neck. Lift up, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches up. Push into the hands. Step that left foot as far forward as you can. Lower the right knee, but not the toes, and lift up here. Squeeze this right glute. Hip is over the knee. Bring your arms into your goalpost. Inhale here. Exhale, turning from the ribs, not letting that pelvis move. Inhale back to center. Exhale, turn. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate. Last couple here, keep going. Noticing that when we hold this stability, we kind of hold this compactness, it's actually going to work to help us create more mobility, right? Because we're moving intentionally. Come back through center, bring the hands down, floor or blocks, slide that right foot up next to the left. Rise to stand. Awesome. So moving into our first sequence here, inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hinge and fold. We're going to plant the hands and step back into a downward facing dog. You can always have the hands on blocks because we are going to be stepping forward here. Let's take the right leg, reach it up, inhale. Exhale, step the foot forward. Coming up for a crescent lunge. So in your crescent lunge, we're on the back toes. You can soften that back knee a little bit, lengthen the tailbone down, zipping up in the pubic bone. So we've still got more of this neutral, compact feeling in the pelvis. Nice. And then from here, just going to start to swing in your arms. Right, so we're holding side to side in the ribs, but allowing a little bit of movement here. Right, so as we start to move in our arms, it is challenging that stability within the hips, within the pelvis, and within kind of all of these muscles of the abdominals. Last couple here. And then we're going to windmill up and around to face the back of the mat. Right hand and right knee will lower. So right hand is directly under the shoulder. Dial that hand out. So kind of screw that hand into the floor to feel that stability in the shoulder. And the left leg will reach back. So this right leg, you can always kickstand it to make that a little bit easier to balance. We've got this right shoulder hugging down, and that shoulder blade kind of suctions onto your back ribs. So go ahead and take your left hand to your low belly, draw that pubic bone up, and then drive this right glute, that bottom glute, forward. Now without changing any of that, see if you can slide your left toes forward and back. Forward and back. Keep going there. Not letting your lower back arch. Not letting that right shoulder roll forward. Last one. Whew. And then this time we're going to pull the left knee up and step it in front of you. So we're going to rise all the way up into a warrior three. So tuck those back toes under, step down into that left foot, come on up. You can always have the right toes down on the floor if you need. And you can always have the right hand on the left thigh. But button together these two front pelvic points, zip up in that pubic bone. You got it. Neck is nice and long. One more breath. And we're going to step the right foot back down, turn around to face the front of the mat, revolved low lunge. Left hand lands underneath the shoulder, right under it. Dial that hand into the floor, squeeze the shoulder blade down, lean back into it for your twist. So squeeze that left glute. Nice. Let your head relax. Left ear can just kind of melt toward that shoulder. Big, easy breaths. And let's bring the right hand and the knees down to the floor so we're in our quadruped again. Or actually, sorry, I lied. Left hand is down, right foot is still forward. We're going to come into a warrior two, right forearm to your right thigh. Spin your left heel down and open up. Flip the right palm up, inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Let your head relax. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle, right forearm to your right thigh. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Good. Now from here, we windmill the hands down to the floor and come back into your tabletop. So get those hands right underneath the shoulders, dial them in, wrap those shoulders back, hug them into their sockets, and hold the front ribs in. Nice. So you want the scapula, the shoulder blades to feel really secure on your back ribs here. We're going to slide the left foot back and then the right knee back for plank. Tap the knees to the floor, bend your elbows just a tiny bit without changing anything else. So ribs are in, pubic bone zips up, straighten the arms, lift the legs, right knee underneath you, left knee underneath you. Let's do that again. Right foot back, left foot back, tap the knees, bend the elbows just a little bit, keeping the fronts of the shoulders lifted, straighten the arms, lift the knees, left knee underneath you, right knee underneath you. I'm going to shake out my wrists a little bit there. And then we'll lift up, downward facing dog. Nice. Let's take the right leg, lift it up just to hip height. Now, just like we did before, we're going to circle in the hip, but this time with a straight leg. So we're just having a little bit more demand there. The leg being straight instead of bent. Working a little bit harder to control that circle in the hip. Switch directions. Hold the ribs in, hold the arms up. Good. And then we'll step that left foot down, or the right foot down, excuse me. Left leg reaches up here. Exhale, step the foot forward, crescent lunge, going right into the second side here. So we're up on the back toes a bit. The knee can soften. Squeeze this back glute. Zip up the pubic bone in front. Hold on to that as you start to move your arms. Nice. I feel like we haven't done all too much, and I am like pouring in sweat. That's what happens when we really have to work to hold that proximal stability. Heats you up quick. Last one. Now we're going to windmill up and around to the back, modified side plank, left hand underneath the shoulder, right leg goes back. So remember your option here to kickstand that bottom leg if you need to. Screw that shoulder in, screw the hand into the floor. Feel that shoulder pack back so that scapula, shoulder blade on your back is suction cupped to your ribs. Now, right hand to the low belly, zip up in the pubic bone. Take this left glute, drive it forward. And then if you want to, right foot slides forward and back. Slide it forward and back. Keep going there. Right, and you just use these little movements, kind of these little challenges, just as an invitation to connect deeper into those core stabilizers. Hugging that left shoulder in, driving that left glute forward, holding the ribs in. And then this time we're going to pull the right knee in, step it up. Tuck the left toes under. We're coming up into our warrior three. Drive down through that right foot. Awesome. So remember your options. You can always have the left toes on the floor. You can have the left hand on the right thigh, providing you a little bit of like that upward lift. Nice. Good. Stand tall on that right leg. You can always hinge into this right hip a little bit, keeping the spine nice and long. One more breath. We're going to step the left foot down, windmill up and around to the front, revolving low lunge. Right hand directly underneath the shoulder. Screw the hand in there. Hug the shoulder in. Lean back into that shoulder blade as you open up for your twist. Squeeze that back right glute. Let your head relax. Right, so it's from this proximal, this core stability, that we get this sense of freedom, that we can start to move in bigger ways, right? Knowing that we're supported. So from here, we're gonna spin the right heel down, left forearm to the left thigh, open up, warrior two. So take an inhale breath here. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Still kind of holding this upper left. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. And then we'll bring the hands down to the floor. Bring the knees down, quadruped tabletop position. You know the drill, hands under the shoulders, screw them in. So we're kind of wrapping the shoulders back, shoulder blades down, pubic bone lifts up, ribs are in. Let's step the right foot back, the left foot back, tap the knees down, bend the elbows just a little bit, not changing anything else. Straighten the arms, lift the knees, left knee, right knee come underneath you. One more time. Left foot back, right foot back, tap the knees, bend the elbows just a tiny bit, straighten the arms, lift the knees, glutes are squeezing, right knee under you, left knee under you. When you're ready there, lifting up, downward facing dog. Left leg reaches this time. And same thing as before, just start to circle in that left hip without changing anything else. Side feels a little bit clunkier for me. Switch directions. And then step that left foot down. Take an inhale breath. Exhale it out. Then we'll start to walk your feet and maybe your hands forward. You get to the top of the mat and we'll rise to stand. All right, how are we feeling? I'm like a puddle over here. So we're gonna do one more sequence. We are going to repeat a lot of the things that we've already done, and we're gonna add on a few fun little things. So as always, everything is optional. Listen to your body. How are you feeling? What do you need today? So starting at the top here, I'm gonna hinge back just a little bit into the hips and step your right foot back. So crescent lunge. So already we're kind of in this tilted forward position. So flexing into that left hip crease, right glute squeezes. And then let's start to add the arms again. It's maybe a little bit easier, second time around. So we're gonna challenge this a little bit more. When the right arm comes forward, warrior three. Step it back, crescent lunge. Right arm comes forward, warrior three, and back. Keep going there at your own pace. You can always just tap those back toes to the floor. Whoop. Nice. Let's do 2 more like that. Sitting into that left hip crease a little, holding the ribs. Last one. Whew, that left glute is on fire. Now hold your warrior 3. Rise up to stand, right knee pulls up. Whew. Check in with this left glute. Squeeze it. Bring your arms out into a goalpost. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, rotate. Inhale back to center. Exhale, rotate. Holding the ribs in. Moving from there. Inhale. Last one. Exhale. Hold it here. And then we're going to step that right foot back, windmill all the way to the back of the mat. Modified side plank. Left hand lands under the shoulder, hip is under the knee. Right leg reaches back, and maybe this time it hovers. Right, so dial that hand into the floor. Get that shoulder blade packing down. That left glute drives forward. Pubic bone zips up. Maybe you start to add a pulse. Right leg pulsing up and down. Really feeling that work in this right kind of outer hip, outer glute. And then from here, we're going to pull the right knee in, step it up, low lunge, right hand comes back to that left glute, wrapping it down, left arm reaches up. So feel this upward lift in your spine. And then from here, I'm going to do a prayer twist. So left elbow just lands on top of the right thigh, right? We're not trying to crank that over. We're maintaining this length and this hug in the center. Right hand can land on top of the left. You can also do this with the left hand just simply on the right thigh. Right, so lift the belly up and then pushing down into the back toes. Maybe straighten the leg. So you can always keep that back knee on the floor this whole time. Right, so hugging this right hip back, lengthening the spine forward, lifting the belly. Maybe you want to challenge a little bit more. Rock forward a bit. Maybe hover the back leg. Amazing. Looking straight down at the floor. Beautiful. And then we'll land that left foot, windmill open, left side, warrior 2. Now we're cooking. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, side angle. One more time. Reverse. And side angle. And a windmill down, come into your tabletop position. It's going to take a nice little stretch here for a moment. Let's thread, reach the right arm up, and then thread the right arm underneath the left. Come down onto the right side of your head. You can play around with the position of your knees to see what feels better. It's better to have them in a little bit or walk them back a bit. Let's take a couple really deep breaths. You can always reach the left fingertips forward. But even here, lifting up in the ribs and in the belly. Breathing into your back. If the left fingers were forward, go ahead and bring them back here. Slowly come back up. And then we'll bring the feet forward to the front, however you would like to get there. Got one more side. Let's do it. So we're going to sit back into a little hip hinge. The hips are moving back, spine is reaching forward. Slide that left foot back, crescent lunge. So squeeze that left glute. Even here, we're flexing into the right hip, keeping the length in the spine. And then start to swing your arms. And then when that left arm is forward, we're going to bring it forward, warrior three. Take it back, tilted crescent. Maybe a few swings in the middle there. Left arm forward, left leg back. Warrior three. Keep it going there at your pace. Know your options. You can always have that left toe down on the floor. Nice. Let's do one more here. We're going to come up, hold that warrior three, and then rise to stand with the left knee coming up. Come on, right glute. She's talking to me. Bring your arms out into your goalpost. Push down into that right foot. Inhale. Exhale, rotate, keeping the ribs in. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, rotate. Inhale, back to center. Last one. Exhale, rotate. And then we're going to step that left foot back, windmill to the back, modified side plank. So right hand comes underneath the shoulder. Left leg goes back. So dial that right hand into the floor. Pack that right shoulder blade down. Right glute drives forward so pubic bone lifts up. And then you can add in that pulse of the left leg. Yes, last couple here. And then we're gonna look down, pull that left knee in, step the foot up, low lunge here, left fist comes into the right glute, wrap it down, right arm reaches up. So feel all of this upward lift, right? We're held in, strong, we're supported. We're gonna take that so that the right elbow lands on top of the left thigh, so you can maintain that length and that hug of the ribs. Left hand can land on top of it. Remember, you can always be right here with just the right hand on the thigh. Look down in front of your toes here, and then maybe straighten the back knee. So squeeze the right glute. Got a nice clean line in that back leg, so really strong. If you want to, you can shift forward a bit. Hover the back leg, right? Always an option. Keep lifting the belly, squeezing in that outer hip. And then the right foot will land if it was up. Windmill open for right side warrior two, facing the front. Arms reach forward and back, inhale. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. One more time. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. And then we'll bring the hands and the knees down for tabletop, going right into our thread the needle. So the left arm can thread up, and then bring it under the right. So you come down onto the left side of the head. So there really should be hardly any weight on the neck at all. More on the shoulder. And you can always do this, staying up a little bit higher here as well. An option to take the right fingers and walk them forward. Just move your breath into your back. You can bring that right hand underneath you, lift back up into a tabletop. Maybe just do a couple rounds of a cat and cow here. Could circle in the belly, and add a little side bend. And then when you're ready, come through onto your back. And hopefully you two have a little dog that likes to take Shavasana with you. Buddy. And then take a moment there just with your feet wide. Windshield wiper the legs just a little bit side to side. Just letting that motion happen in the hips and the hip joints. And then as we set up for Shavasana, you can have the legs straight out. You can have the feet on the floor with the knees bent. If your legs are straight and you have maybe a pillow or a blanket you could place under them, that feels really nice sometimes. And then once you're there, just making the conscious decision to let everything settle. No longer needing to worry about form or alignment. Just let yourself drop in. And just noticing whatever feelings come up in your body, whatever thoughts come up in your mind. And just allowing them, observing them. And letting them pass. Let your next breath be a little bit deeper. Notice the contact of your body on the floor. Starting to bring your awareness back into the space around you. Begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, you can roll over to your favorite side. And gently push yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Just going to prop my hips up on a blanket here. You're welcome to elevate your hips or sit in any way that feels comfortable for you. And go ahead and place one hand over your heart and one hand over your belly. Just take a moment to notice how you're feeling, whatever it may be. And allow those feelings to come to the surface. Allow yourself to feel them, to not judge them. And so even if you felt a little off balance today, a little wobbly, right, that's okay. Right, because more than just even building physical strength and physical adaptability, this practice is also about building that stability internally, right, in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart, right, so that you can truly begin to know who you are, to know your own strength, and to be able to move from that place out in the world, knowing that you are supported, that you are loved. And from there we can move with strength and with courage in a bigger way. Thank you so much for sharing a very sweaty practice with me today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again next time.